This CCTV footage appears to be from a market. A woman and a man are looking at produce when a stranger stumbles into the frame, reaches out his arm, and does something pretty terrible that I can't show here. The two people are obviously furious with his actions and attempt to take justice into their own hands. The stranger's actions were very creepy, and I wonder if this video evidence will be used to press charges. Not all creatures need size to be scary. This small humanoid was found on the anchor of a kayak. It's about the size of a pinky nail according to the uploader, and seems to pull itself along its stomach using well-developed arms. The video is too up close to check its face, but at 1 minute and 22 seconds it does appear to have its head up in a way that looks kind of human. This isn't an insect and it's not a fish, so tell me what it is. An employee walks by when the corner of her hand cart gets caught on the corner of this looming wall display. She shakes it loose with a sharp tug, sending an entire wall of spiky pegged hooks cascading down. It looks like she gets taken out pretty badly. Then at the very end, she's standing off to the side, stunned but still okay. I'm so glad she is okay, but the thought of how this could have went wrong makes me still wish I hadn't seen this video. A YouTuber named Chastity Pineda TV has a haunted basement. As this paranormal video shows, her camera detects motion at 2:52 a.m., but she can't see anything, only the sound of ghost footsteps. And 8 minutes later is when this 3 a.m. paranormal experience is archived for her to look at later. She puts the camera in a different spot, and on another night, 11:45 to be precise, she catches the swing in motion with all of the lights on, and at 2:20 the next afternoon, the swing is moving on its own and something new happens. Listen again. Did you hear the creepy kid's voice when the stick falls? That's an old walking stick they're interacting with, by the way. Perhaps this object is what's causing these events. It's late at night and this woman knocks on your door. She's alone and looks scared and keeps looking behind her like someone's after her. Do you answer? If so, big mistake.
Do you guys happen to have a gas tank?
Two men covered with bandanas come from around the corner to force their way in. The woman who was just politely asking for help. It was a trick to get you to open the door. She's in on it, and now the people inside are in big trouble. This happened August 22nd, 2018 in Bakersfield, California, but it's nothing new. Placing a few security cams to see around that fateful corner would have saved this family from a horrible experience they didn't deserve. A YouTube channel called The Real Revealed goes to Sanjay Van, one of the most haunted woods in all of India. To top it off, they decide to wait until 3 a.m. before ghost hunting. I'm not so sure about the supposed first encounter though. They say this is the sound of a spirit, but I think it's just the cameraman breathing.
हाँ वैसा कोई दिखा है ऊपर की तरफ देखा हूँ मैं एक बार वैसे आप लोग अगर कैमरे में
The next voice, however, sounds much different and I agree could be paranormal. It sounds distant, almost like a radio, but they're in the middle of nowhere and wouldn't get reception out here. Translate what is being said by them if you can.
लगातार इधर से उधर मूव कर रहा है क्योंकि लाइट्स में हमें
I may not know what they're saying, but I do see this light appear as soon as this strange voice is heard. It's probably a bug, but if it's not, then this is a coincidence worth mentioning. The voice trails off a short while later, and they aren't able to hear it again or find the source. I think they probably really did make contact with the supernatural, but I will reserve my final verdict until after someone is able to translate this video. A British YouTuber named Lewis Clark goes in search of a country cottage that's reportedly where people go to take their own lives. The inside is still and stuffy and cluttered with cobwebs and shattered glass. Huge chunks have rotted underfoot, threatening to send Lewis Clark and his crew to a painful fall that might not have made it through. As they go deeper inside, they noticed a very bad sign. Tell me if this is a fake cough or not.
Guys, the whole place here stinks. Like, I don't know why the place stinks.
The stench is really bad now, as they reach the far end of the home, and as one of them reaches for this giant spider, they find something much more horrifying laying in wait.
Boy, this guy, he's gonna touch the spider. What the is that?
A white cloth with dark red stains is draped over what appears to be the shape of a human. It looks like this poor soul met a particularly gruesome end, but there's no red on the walls or pooling on the floor underneath, so I think this body was recently moved here for some reason. Or this was all set up. The problem is I can't tell which, and I'm not sure if I want to know the real answer.
Here I am. Hey, come. Here I am. Come on out.
Every day this YouTuber has a neighbor challenge him to come outside of his apartment to settle an imaginary score. Just to be completely clear, these people have never interacted before. This still doesn't stop her from bothering him outside of his door almost every day. At times it seems as if she imagines an answer from him. Like this part, for example. I think she hears something in her own mind, tells him to try it, and then hears another response that never happened.
Here I am. What? Come. Try it. Kiss me.
Perhaps weirdest of all is how the videos are dated throughout November and December, yet she always appears to be wearing the same outfit. Perhaps she is past the point of keeping basic hygiene habits and needs to be taken somewhere safe that can care for her. In the meantime, I hope she gets the help she needs. A YouTuber named Paranormal World records a weird video in a parking garage that he claims is inhabited by a scary unknown creature. He is walking to his car when he hears some seriously scary noises coming from the other side, and that's when he says this creature was caught on camera. Something impossibly fast and low runs across the ground and makes him get into his car fast. The unknown creature looks like a bizarre sighting at first, until you zoom in for a better look, at which point the object looks pretty fake, to be honest. I mean, the legs don't even move, so I don't even know how this creature sighting could be real. I also found another video in which he says to have had a ghost sighting in the same building. I mean, the chances of having a creature sighting and a ghost sighting in the same lifetime, let alone in the same building, seems pretty rare. I will say this video looks much more convincing. That is, until 13 minutes and 13 seconds when the little ghost girl abruptly disappears, instead of smoothly fading away. What do you think? Is this video real or fake? A YouTuber named Ashton Kelly is skateboarding with his friend Casey when they remember they're near an old haunted tunnel that might make for some good video. The first part is really small, so they scoot across on their boards until it widens to reveal the true, much darker entrance. Ashton is commenting on nearby spiders when they hear a low rumbling noise that I think is just the wind, but could be a growl.
It's a big ass spider. What the was that?
Eventually, they go so far down that they no longer get a cell phone signal, meaning they're truly on their own from this point on, and that's when they see a single eye reflecting light. To this day, they're not sure what was watching them. The thing is low to the ground, and I don't know if this is its whole body or just the head peeking around the corner. It doesn't move, which makes me wonder if they put it there, but it could have just been as surprised as they were. Ashton and Casey get out of there as fast as possible, but take a look at it again. What do you think they were running from? A YouTuber named Bria Studolo says that she installed a security camera, specifically due to this problem neighbor. The man walks up to her home and, according to Brie, starts watching her through the window. I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I do think it's strange that he stands on her front door for over half a minute without knocking. According to Brie, he makes eye contact with her through the window and then begins frantically knocking to cover up his actions. He says he needs to use her backyard to get to a breaker box that they share. The only thing is that there is an easier route to take to the breaker box that's not through her backyard in the dark, so this could just be a made-up excuse. She claims that he has taken pictures of her through the window before, and I do find it weird that he takes his phone out moments before he is discovered. Based on this video, let me know what you make of this situation, and how much danger you think Brie was actually in. An unnamed European castle is the subject of investigation on a ghost hunting YouTube channel called Paranormal Mystery. They are hastily setting up a CCTV system for the evening's investigation when they realize the battery is being drained from all of them really fast. But right before the cameras power down, they manage to capture this ghost on CCTV. A ghost walks by and dissipates before it reaches the last step. I don't know if this is computer editing, but the way it slowly shrinks and then goes away is more complex than a simple fade out shot. This video was taken in 2008, so the video quality is actually quite good and still holds up to this day. Their surprised reactions make me think this could be real. A YouTuber named Wonderlust Huff is mowing his yard when his neighbor walks out holding a camera and starts filming him through the fence. After a while, Wonderlust Huff appears to reach over the fence and silently acknowledges his neighbor's strange behavior. The neighbor goes back into his house and the confrontation gets ugly from there.
I told you before, I don't want you taking pictures over my fence. It's irritating. I have a daughter. I don't know what your intentions are. I have a daughter. I have a wife. I don't want you taking pictures over the fence.
There doesn't seem to be any reason for his neighbor to be filming Wonderlust Huff as he mows his lawn, so I definitely agree that this is creepy. According to the description, he would also fly his drone into people's backyards until the entire neighborhood made him stop. The neighbor's actions are certainly bizarre and seem to be without explanation. A YouTuber named Ziggy09 wasn't sure if the spirit world was real or not until he got a visit from one of them. So I bet you were focused on the figure outside the window that you didn't notice this curtain moving by itself while the opposite one stays as still as can be. Something must already be in the home. Ziggy turns on the lights to reveal an all-white figure wave its hand, the curtain closest to it fluttering all the while, followed by a weird humming noise. Ziggy claims to have seen nothing in the window at this time, but his eerie suspicions of being watched at night were confirmed upon reviewing this video. To further add to the mystery, his last update was over 7 years ago, so either he forgot about this channel, or whatever's in this video grew much bolder. Roofers in Miami, Florida have a creepy encounter with some scary creatures hiding among us. One of them removes a shingle and has only seconds to get away from these creepy creatures of the night caught on camera. After some more investigating, they discovered to their horror that the bats are not coming from a hole in the house, but are rather nestled under each shingle by the dozens. Suddenly, the removal job has become a lot more complicated, and beyond creepy, as they have to pry open each area without getting in the way of awakening bats. At 8 minutes and 15 seconds, bats are flying into this guy's face and threatening to knock him off balance. Eventually, it looks like they've gotten rid of them all, but just knowing that I'm one shingle away from a face full of bats would probably be scary enough to make me find another company to work for, and possibly another career altogether. A YouTuber named Deji has a creepy new neighbor who has been acting strange ever since they first moved in not too long ago. Despite having a very private gated entrance, the neighbor actually sneaks over his wall and says hello as if this behavior was normal.
Are you actually for real?
I mean, this seems to stop.
She says something about wanting to see his dog, but Deji quickly interrupts to set his neighbor straight. I don't understand what she says at the end while reaching out to him, so let me know if you can make it out.
Cool, cool. Go back the way you can.
Touching?
No. Go back the way you can.
Overall, it's hard to tell if she is socially awkward at times or mentally unstable. Either way, Deji sends the neighbor climbing back over his wall. I think he handled the situation appropriately, but let me know what you think. Dominic Mancuso has been involved in an ongoing feud over something he doesn't even understand. All he knows is that his neighbors are apparently obsessed with watching him and making him feel as uncomfortable as possible. It's all part of a 6-part series that spans over the course of months. Very little of their behavior makes any sense. When Dominic finally has had enough and confronts his neighbors, this is apparently all they have to say. The strange laughter coming from Dominic's neighbor is both creepy and slightly concerning at the same time. His neighbor ducks under the fence and keeps bothering him later in weird new ways. By the end of it, Dominic still has no idea what his neighbors want from him. And quite frankly, neither do I. A father and son are awash with excitement and horror when a sea creature passes by hoping for a family-sized meal. A giant shark circles around for a closer look. There's no reason for it to come over here other than to feast. Someone say if it's a great white like they claim. The coast is right there, which is good for them, but scary for the town. The shark is curious, hungry, and not afraid to come very close to shore, as it appears. This large reptilian sea creature was allegedly spotted rampaging through a small village in Spain. It looks like it's going back to the ocean from where it came, but it also looks like it's probably special effects and not real. It also seems to look right at the camera and notices them at the last moment, which is a little too over the top for me to readily believe. Champ is the name of a giant creature thought to lurk in Lake Champlain, a 125 long body of fresh water bordering New York, Vermont, and Quebec. It starts out small and then shows more of itself, and I think I see and hear air bubbles. The way this thing moves is nothing like a piece of driftwood. This appears to be a living creature capable of changing directions and diving, and there's more air bubbles. Maybe these legends had some truth to them after all, or so this video would make us believe. Don't believe in unknown beings? What if one strolled right up to tap on your window? This unknown being footage, posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by 77Kuren, will inspire you to take a trip over to Area 51. The footage shows an unknown being approach the window of a home. Its features are quite clear, with black gashes for eyes and an elongated cranium. You know, the kind of features you might expect from an unknown being. The unknown being stands there, peering into the home, observing. It even looks as though it's trying to find a way to open the window. If that is indeed what it's doing, it doesn't succeed, instead slinking off, perhaps to find the homeowner to take him. What do you think of this unknown being footage, real or fake? Either way, I'll be locking my windows tonight. A YouTuber named Concerned Citizen made this channel to expose his creepy neighbor, who he claims to have caught looking at his wife and other family members late at night. Here you can see the neighbor stare at the house and then briefly shine his high-powered flashlight through a window before walking away. I can think of no other reason for him to be doing this other than to watch the activities of the people inside, which is both bizarre and scary. He repeats this behavior throughout a series of videos, each time capturing a brief glimpse of a family member before retrieving back to his home. According to the police, there is nothing in the law against doing this because he is merely observing the home from his own property. Hopefully he stays in his yard and never gets the idea to take an even closer look one night. Imagine traveling down a busy city street when suddenly cars, buildings, and even the sidewalk starts to rumble beneath your feet. That's exactly what happened to the South Asian country of Nepal in 2017. Onlookers watch in horror as power lines snap and spark on the roads. Everyone scatters for cover only to find there is nowhere to run when the earth itself is the problem. Meanwhile, store interiors become absolute chaos as heavy items clatter to the ground from the shelves and entire aisles topple over. The very foundation of the building itself threatens to collapse under the immense shaking. Watch again and you'll see this brave woman pick up her child seconds before a cascading avalanche of items would have surely crushed him. It's amazing how quickly someone can become a hero with barely a moment's thought. A YouTuber named MMW Neighbor has a huge problem just 1 yard over. An oversized neighborhood pit bull has repeatedly slammed itself against the fence to the point where the structure is cracked and weakened. Now the wood bends dramatically with each hit. What's amazing is that the dog is behaving this way completely unprovoked. All the YouTuber has to do is simply come outside for all of this to start happening.
Nothing. Not even antagonizing this dog.
Hopefully the vicious dog is never able to get through. If it does, then I doubt his camera is going to be able to save him. Jails offer no privacy, and a lot of them have CCTV equipment in nearly every corner. This video of an empty cell seems ordinary enough until a shadow materializes out of nowhere. The restless spirit briefly paces in a circle and then goes to the far corner. It seems to step onto the toilet and then jumps out of sight. If this is not CGI, then it could be a spirit reenacting the final moments before taking its own life with a rope or something similar. This is sadly a common practice in jail and can be done with anything from shoelaces to a tied up shirt. Maybe a desperate inmate once tied something around their neck to the bars above and jumped off the toilet. They were obviously trying to escape their punishment, but now it looks like they doomed themselves here for all eternity. This is probably one of the scariest baby monitor submissions our subreddit has gotten. It was posted by a user named Shadow Panda, who found a straight up demon face in the room of her 10-month-old child. The face is looking off to the side through the boards of the child's wooden crib. The face is still on her baby monitor, right up until the very moment she opens the doors and steps inside. Then it's mysteriously gone. The only thing in its place is this green kid's toy, but I don't see any way it could look like that scary face. There's a Dalmatian toy wearing a hat, but it doesn't look like the demon face either. It's not at the right angle. This thing, whatever you want to call it, was looking at her child right between the bars. Freaky, right? A YouTube channel called The Paranormal Detectives investigates the Morton Corbet Castle in England. A man named Paul Holmyard cursed this property after his exile sometime during the late 1500s. And centuries later, his curse still apparently stains these walls. The paranormal detectives set up 2 haunted dolls of their own to act as spiritual conduits for anything nearby. Not only does one of their dolls, Elizabeth, fall over, but this strange black line begins leaking from its neck onto the wall behind. Fully stretched out at 1 minute and 53 seconds, it almost looks like some kind of tentacle, or even a parasite. Is this special effects? Or could we be witnessing a spiritual entity caught on camera while leaving Elizabeth? A YouTuber named Tobias Project checks his home security camera and is surprised to find his neighbor climbing his stairs to access the roof. Notice how he stops at the top of the stairs to make sure no one is home. It's pretty obvious that he knows he doesn't belong. He looks inside the window for an extended period of time and then calls no less than 3 friends, one of which is carrying a case of glass bottle beverages. I'm not sure exactly what they were doing here, but apparently they later told Tobias Project that they were working on a movie when he confronted them. I didn't see any camera equipment, so I doubt that is the real reason. Let me know if you think they were scoping out his place or just trying to party. Jesse, who runs a YouTube channel called Jessie Christine Keep Calm and Clean, is freaking out over a scary CCTV video of an odd light she captured in her own living room. The camera is moving in real time, so this footage is not sped up. The light is only there for a second and then gone as quickly as it came. When you look at her living room during the daytime, you can see the area of the couch where the light hit is across from a window, so maybe it was headlights from a car or something. But since they live on a quiet country road without many neighbors, there's no real reason for anyone to be passing through, and if they were, the light from their car should last for longer than a second as they go down the long road. Here's another strange surveillance tape out of Singapore, this time at an apartment building in Tampines. Most of the orb videos I've seen in the past could be explained away as a piece of dust, but this is clearly something way different. At first, I thought that this was someone playing with a high-powered flashlight, but then I realized 2 things. You can usually see a ray of light leading back to a person holding the flashlight, but there's no such thing here. Secondly, the orb appears to briefly switch to a gray color when it hits the wall. Watch this part of the video to see the colors change. That's not something an ordinary flashlight would do. If anyone can explain these 2 things to me, then I'll agree that it's fake. A YouTuber named Mondo Rene is walking his dog when he sees a neighbor who he doesn't particularly get along with. He is complaining about the entire neighborhood in general when the neighbor pulls in way too close.
Look at this. What the f*** is your f***ing problem? I'm calling the f*** house. You.
They actually drove into the garage door, where Mondo Rene was just standing, and then does a 3-point turn. They were trying to make him scared for sure, but over what I just don't know. The point is, they could have easily drove into Mondo and his dog if they didn't step out of the way. A YouTube channel called Urban Secrets is checking out an abandoned building that used to treat people with eye problems long ago. Now the building itself is an eyesore that should have been condemned long ago. Among the cracked walls and broken windows, they find this makeshift bed with a lump on the mattress. Here it is from a different angle. It does look like somebody laying on their side with the covers pulled over past their head, and I think this is their shoes down by their feet. The middle is not moving though, so if it is a person, then they are no longer breathing. The group backs away, but they have to take one last look. This definitely looks like it could be the outline of somebody, but since nobody in their right mind sleeps like that, I doubt that they are still living. This video was taken while pier fishing in the Southeast Asian country of Timor-Leste. It's really fast and has already moved quite a distance by the time he gets his phone out, so he only records these final few moments. A shark or a dolphin could move that fast, but there's no top fin. Someone says it looks like a buoy getting pulled in, but pulled in by what is my question. Nobody is on the pier as far as I can tell. The creature, or whatever it is, goes underwater and does not resurface. It's too far away to tell anything for certain, so I think this is going to be an unsolved mystery forever. A man is fishing in Australia when his raft briefly goes over a dense patch of seaweed. He carefully gets out and walks along the slippery surface in search of a good place to fish. No sooner does he cast his line out when this happens. The dark outline of a sizable stingray angrily flaps towards him with all of its might. I'm guessing the raft accidentally bumped into it, sending it charging into his direction. It moves right by him in his blind panic. There's no doubt that he was over top of it earlier. In fact, if he had chosen to step off the other side of the raft, his foot probably would have gone right on it. Megan uploaded an odd doorbell cam video to her TikTok account. The video says 10:29 on a Friday, but she actually saw this stranger running past her home at 5:15 that same morning. The phantom image is a little more than a glowing pair of eyes and a barely visible body that weaves in and out of focus. The blurry figure doesn't even make it past her front yard before it disappears entirely. When paused here, it looks like a person leaning forward as they run. One leg is on the ground and one hand is in the air. The question is whether or not this was a glitch, which I don't think it was, because everything else in the scene looks completely normal. A YouTuber named Outside sets up a home security camera and catches his very own neighbor rifling through his cabinets and refrigerator. The man is in and out of the house in less than 2 minutes after taking a number of canned drinks and other items. As these still frames show, the neighbor gains entrance through a window and then starts walking around like they own the place. It's both sad and scary to think that this YouTuber's own neighbor was waiting for him to leave every day just to take advantage of him. Videos like these show that sometimes the people closest to you are the ones least worthy of your trust. This bizarre and giant sea creature was recorded by someone casually sipping their morning coffee in the English village of Tynemouth. It looks like it has the head of a dolphin until it dives underwater and shows an eel-like body. One thing I don't understand is why he quickly zooms out when the creature surfaces at exactly 1 minute. It could have been an accident, or it could have been to hide from us the fact that this is a rubber mat, like one person says in the comments. I'm no expert, but that does look more like a creature than a mat to me. What do you see? I don't know if this creature meant to swim up to them, but it did, and so they bring it on the pier.
Yep.
You watching it swimming?
Mm-hmm. That thing is freaky.
I think it's a giant worm, but at the same time, I can almost see an alien-like face here at 1 minute before it goes out of focus. It's looking up at him, and here are the eyes, and this is the mouth. And what that slime is, I simply don't know. Everyone needs to help me to identify this thing, otherwise it's no sleep for me tonight, I'm afraid. The justice system in Brazil is notoriously overcrowded. As such, CCTV ghost footage like this sighting is not that uncommon. The CCTV ghost goes into a small courtyard and climbs the wall to see over the heads of people who aren't even there. After a bit of scouting, it goes back inside. This simple routine was probably repeated hundreds of times throughout the course of this passed away individual's time behind bars, and so it seems reasonable that it would continue to do so in the afterlife as well. A spirit sadly locked away forever. This video was taken in a public housing development on Jurong Road in Singapore. Audrey Anthony claims he's been experiencing strange supernatural occurrences on his property and decides to set up a CCTV system. He's both amazed and terrified when one of his cameras actually verifies his story. A small white object darts down the hall with enough force to rustle some clothing. A slowed down version of the video reveals a vaguely childlike figure about the size of a toddler. It could just be video editing, but let me know if you see it and what you think it is. A YouTube channel called Good Cemeteries Gone Bad captures this scraggly sighting in broad daylight while investigating the Anclote Cemetery in Florida. They wanted to know if this was a spider web or a spirit, and I know that different spiders make different looking webs, but I have to say this looks like no spider web that I have ever seen before around where I live. Plus, look at the way it simply disappears upon hitting the light. That's not normal. So if you live in Florida, please let us know if this looks like any of the webs in your area, because I'm inclined to say that this is the paranormal at work. This sea creature looks like a tiny mollusk until it pokes a little further out of its shell and gives us a better look.
Oh, yeah, one big yellow. Oh wow, look at it stick all the way out.
I didn't get to see it.
Look how far it's sticking itself out now.
According to the uploader, this creature has 10 tentacles and 2 claws, so it's not an octopus or a squid. He said he doesn't think it's a hermit crab either, and that's what I wanted to get your opinion on. Maybe this is some kind of parasite that ate a clam, but I'm not sure. This large, unidentified fish or eel-like creature skims the water like a shark. One person even thinks this has to be a remote controlled because the way it moves is so odd looking. You never do get to see the head, so this could be a much larger creature than what we're being shown. Its tail looks much larger than the body, like it was built for something giant. The person recording has seen it before and says it can move through the water like a missile. With that large tail, I definitely believe it. This creepy moment caught on a doorbell cam from Knoxville, Tennessee, shows a shadowy creature dart across Brian Hobbs' suburban yard and then mysteriously disappear. Bizarre, right? Okay, so maybe seeing this mysterious creature sighting one time can be explained away as a camera glitch, but when the moving shadows returns and materializes into a wild animal running the opposite way, you know this scary moment could be paranormal. This scary video goes to show that real ghost sightings caught on doorbell cam aren't limited to humans. This video is from the official YouTube page of the Bluestone National Park Resort in Wales, so it has a higher chance of being real than if it was on some random page. It looks like a fish, except for the very beginning, which more closely resembles the upper body of a person, one with wet hair at that. The Bluestone National Park Resort says that this is a mermaid. Do you think they are telling the truth based on this video? Or is this something they edited to help get people interested in visiting? Any sport can become a contact sport if you let your guard down, even fishing.
Jesus!
Bumping into this antenna is the only reason this large wahoo fish didn't nail him, and it's a good thing too. That whipping tail is probably powerful enough to crack something, and the fins are likewise razor sharp. I'm sure they had a good laugh after they calmed down, but at the same time this could have been more serious and they're miles away from help. This video is probably one of the most popular creature sightings caught on tape ever, and yet it is also the least properly cited. There are a lot of theories about this video, so I've decided to track down the original and provide some information you've probably never heard before on any other channels. This mysterious unknown creature sighting was uploaded by a YouTuber named Raymond Young on April 17th, 2015. The bizarre creature was recorded in China at the Shenzhen Reservoir, walking along the Jiyangsha Bay. When this video went viral, rumors spread that this mysterious creature was a bear or a sloth with mange. However, the description of the video provides an interesting cultural explanation that is terrifying to think about. The original title for this video translates to English as water monkey. According to the villagers, this mysterious figure is a mythological entity known as a water ghost. Legends say that it mainly eats shrimp and fish, but it is also known to go after humans like a vampire would. I did some more digging and found an article saying that this was a Malay bear who suffers hair loss from the stress of captivity, or at least that was the official explanation. I think I'm willing to believe this was a stressed out bear rather than a mythological vampiric creature. So if you ever see this creepy video somewhere else, rest assured knowing you now have the real story. A CCTV of a hotel cleaning service after hours captures an unexplainable event that leaves them scared and confused. The hallway is calm and still a shadow person runs up to the cart and then turns away, leaving a faint trail behind. The CCTV ghost looks like it's a glitch, if you ask me, or else special effects altogether. I wish that the camera was just a little closer, because then it would be much easier for us to tell. The CCTV video comes from an unnamed museum after hours. First, you can see the turnstile move on its own, as if someone has been granted admission. Next, the turnstile suddenly stops, and you can see the clear outline of a figure as it makes a brisk exit. I'm not quite sure what to make of this footage, but many people think it could be real, since museums are often filled with ancient artifacts that could be haunted. This living log of organisms looks like it's covered with oysters, but it's not. Look between the shells to see hundreds, if not thousands, of plump yellow sea worms, and here you can see some of them appear to be living inside of the shells. I probably wouldn't go anywhere near something so oddly colored, because they look potentially poisonous. Someone please confirm if my suspicions are correct. Something giant is swimming fast across Lake Okanagan, Canada, never breaking the surface for a clear look except for this part at 40 seconds when a fin flaps by. There's not a boat in front of it, so it's not getting towed. It's not a school of fish because I've never seen fish move in a perfectly straight line. It does appear to be one giant underwater creature. This oddly colored sea creature in Pfeiffer Beach, California, looks like a rock until you flip it over to reveal a soft underbelly. According to the uploader, this creature started to change shape to better fit into their hand. My best guess is some type of sea sponge, but I really don't think that's it, and a park ranger didn't know what it was either, but maybe you will. Look closely and you'll see a tall figure in a black robe looking through the front door of this home. And no, it's not Halloween. It's large and yet at the same time so hard to see that it might be nothing at all. I see it though, and it stands there for a full minute without moving. This kayak is surrounded by water for miles, and yet a tiny head or tentacle or something pokes up directly ahead and then goes back underwater. Maybe it's a beaver or a turtle, but the way it stays just out of sight, but in their path is really weird. A Chicago couple go out for a fun night on the town and then return home after they'd had a few. They pass out on the couch together, and when they wake up the next day, the girlfriend's purse is nowhere to be found. Her boyfriend keeps telling her that she must have left it at the bar last night, but she insists that she remembers bringing it home. He finally decides to end the argument by looking at the home surveillance footage from the night before. This way, he can retrace their steps and figure out if her purse really was with her when they came home.
Is it that one? Who did this? I found a configuration file really quick with a pattern of IP addresses. Once you decrypt it, you'll know where the hell it came from.
The last thing he expected to see while reviewing the footage was a man in a hooded sweatshirt silently watching them from a staircase above as they slept. After staring at the couple for approximately 5 minutes, he goes deeper into the house, then he reappears and watches some more. What's even more astonishing is that the couple had 2 dogs with them, and that the man was so quiet that even the pets did not notice him. Police are sure that this person has been involved in other incidents like this, and are working hard to find him. Who knows how many other people in Chicago he has stood over while they slept, or what other sort of fantasies and other impulses could have possibly been going through his mind at the time. Are you a social media influencer? The next time you're off in your own world, filming your next Twitter phenom, don't look over your shoulder. Posted to YouTube by BTS in May of 2019, this video will haunt you. The Twitter video begins like any other, with its star checking himself out in the camera before taking some film of the passing city scene outside his car window. Looks just like a normal everyday video to brighten everyone's Twitter feed, but as many YouTubers pointed out in the comments of this video, some random shadow appears behind the star's left shoulder. What is this creeping shadow lingering just behind him? Is it something paranormal or just a ghostly fan watching him? Judge for yourself. Either way, it's 100% frightening. YouTube channel Dayton Haunted Explorers dive into the Fairfield County Infirmary, and the amount of activity they get is intense. After setting a camera up in the infirmary, they capture a series of unexplained sounds.
I came in here earlier on accident. I did not know this bathroom was in here, and I don't know why, but it really creeps me out.
They capture even more activity in the attic.
There was a thing over here.
Later, even more EVPs are captured. Then, as they attempt to communicate with the spirits, the windows start to rattle.
Someone just shook this window.
One of the crew enters this room and she captures a blurry figure on camera. After feeling like she was grabbed a couple times, the crew packs it up to leave, but the spirits aren't done yet. Were the spirits trying to get them? They may not have succeeded this time, but I'm guessing they'll have better luck with the people who enter this haunted place next. Miss ROCIO 4441 published this haunting video in June of 2011, alleging a ghost at the local McDonald's who appeared there at night between 2:30 and 2:50 a.m. In the video, you can certainly see what appears to be a shadow floating around the restaurant. According to the YouTuber, the security camera only turns on when it captures movement. One person in the comments claims to work at this very McDonald's. Ya boy Dan 916 said, "I work night shifts in this store and I get the creeps all the time." Viewers disputed this video as well though, while some saying it could be a bug on the lens. I don't know though, but watching the shadow move around this footage certainly gives me the creeps. Could it be a past customer or McDonald's employee who passed away at this restaurant? I guess we'll never know. When demons get aggressive, then it's time to be really afraid. Published by REDACTED Alterna in November of 2021, this scary video shows a terrifying, malignant incident caught on camera, captured in a scary haunted house. Tim sets up his camera and immediately hears a strange noise behind him. As he's reading something out loud, a window pane starts opening and shutting like mad. The lights start flashing in both rooms, and later, with the night vision on, a chair comes flying out of another room. It doesn't look like it's thrown, rather like it rises. But the scariest part is yet to come. As Tim reads a ritual out loud, a chair comes flying behind him, knocking him over, and seated into the chair. Later, he hears strange knocking from the basement. And when he goes to investigate, creepy groans sound distantly, but they seem like they're all around him. There is something truly to fear in this demon house. Are you ready to face it? Ken Heron and his ghost investigating assistant Gary explore an old burned down house covered in soot and ash. Trash litters the inside, and every surface feels sharp and broken, so they can't stay for long. As they are leaving, Ken gets the feeling that they are being watched, a feeling that Gary soon confirms.
Anything behind me? I'm scared.
Dude, there is something.
Sure enough, this figure is observing them from the very corner of the window, barely noticeable if not for its single glowing white eye. They look to be crouched down to make themselves even harder to see, but here's the thing, nobody should be standing in that spot at all. Ken and Gary were just in that house, and they both know that's a portion of the room with a collapsed floor. Of all the scary creatures I've seen, this unknown underwater sighting is probably one of the weirdest. Check out this creepy video uploaded on March 20th of 2012 from a cheap cell phone in terrible weather, so unfortunately the resolution isn't that great. Anyway, the skies darken overhead, as if heralding the arrival of something dreadful from beneath the ocean waves. That's when this strange sighting is caught on tape, and I'm not sure what it is. A whale's head, the tentacle of a giant creature perhaps, or maybe something even scarier. A creature slaps the boat deck and then goes underwater, with a 9-to-1 like to dislike ratio. Most people seem to believe this scary video's real, but I can't say I agree. Here's my analysis. Like so many others, I too thought it was a giant creature sighting at sea until I noticed something strange at 9 seconds into the video. Pool railings, or so I suspect. If I'm correct, then this must have been taken at a swimming pool, not a boat like the title says. So either this was a strange creature sighting in a pool, or, and this is what I'm going with, it's merely footage of an aquarium show edited to look scarier than it was. This kind of looks like the tank of a killer whale, so maybe this was taken while training one. If this is fake, then congratulations to the maker of this video for fooling tens of thousands of people into believing it was real and going after a boat. Me too at first. At least until some further analysis. When UPS shows up at your door and you haven't ordered anything, be wary. Published to YouTube in May of 2020 by NeoSum. This Ring doorbell footage from a London home shows a man dressed in a UPS coat and holding a package ring the homeowner's doorbell. As he's waiting, he appears preoccupied on the phone. The homeowner answers, and that's when things go off the rails. A moment later, the man barges in, and 3 others come in after him. News reports from May of 2020 clarify that the suspects barged in, demanding a security box from the father. 2 men were charged in the matter. All the more reason not to open the door to anyone. Seva's Solutions is a health and lifestyle YouTube channel with a video that's going to creep out anyone eating an apple right now. For those of you who don't know, grocery stores actually will cover apples in literal wax to make them look shiny and therefore more appealing to buy. That means every time you bite into an apple, you're potentially eating wax. This YouTuber has created a method of getting the store wax off, and wait until you see what it looks like at the end. First, she jabs an apple and runs lemon juice around the outside to loosen the wax bond. After that, she pours boiling hot water over the apple to fully remove the substance. After a few minutes of turning and pouring, she is finally finished.
So as you can see, this is all of the just waxy stuff that came off of the apple. It's pretty gross when you think about that. That's what you consume when you just think you're eating a nice healthy apple.
This sludge at the bottom of the bowl is what the wax looks like once it comes off. Pretty gross, huh? It's definitely not something I want to eat. This video made me curious about organic apples, so I did some research, and yes, they have wax on them too. Apparently the wax has been made out of a special organic substance, but I would rather they not do this at all. These flats are supposed to be abandoned, so who is in this window? Posted to TikTok by Scared to Death Zero. This crew is looking around an abandoned encampment at night when they see movement in one of the upper windows. Zooming in, there's no one there, but then they move their flashlight from the window, and the figure again peeks out from behind a curtain. Many in the comments are completely freaked out, while some think it's a squatter, others are not so sure. They say it has no face. What is this thing? Would you try to find out? If you hold a ceremony in the house of a known witch, you can expect exactly what's about to happen in this video. Published in February of 2022 by the channel Paranormal Point, evil came out of a mirror when this paranormal investigator prompted it to. He sees a shadow move in the mirror. Is someone in the room with him? Upon his arrival, he found these realistic candles already set up. He believes the witch was performing her ceremonies in front of this mirror. After he lights the candles, the nearby stool starts to take on a life of its own. But the real question is, what is living in this mirror? Is it a demon? As the spirit box communicates,
Кто тебя забрал?
Демон.
when the man stands in front of the mirror, he feels someone behind him. I'd wager it's the shadow figure we saw earlier in the corner. When you experience regular poltergeist activity in your home, monitoring it becomes top priority. YouTuber Donnie Drunkard shares this VR 360 video from a GoPro Max of his home's demonic activity. You can hear faint knocks or footsteps repeatedly. More unexplained sounds unfold. Not long after, there's a major smashing noise, followed by REM pod activity. You can also hear faint voices at this point, maybe from a TV turning on. Not long after, this happens. And again, it sounds like the TV has been turned on or someone is speaking. The voice comes and goes throughout the remainder of the clip, but turning 360, you can't see anything on. And lastly, the spirits play a short tune. This video is particularly unsettling to me because you can see all four corners of the room at any time, so you know nobody is pulling the strings. I'm convinced that Donnie's house is haunted, and considering the noises, the demon doesn't sound friendly. A YouTuber named Tyler Hardy wakes up in the middle of the night only to find one of his friends standing in the corner with his back turned. Tyler wakes up everyone else and they soon agree that he must be sleepwalking. They're in the middle of laughing at him when they realize to their horror that he is not exactly sleeping after all. This video is only about half a minute long, so it's hard to tell if he is really possessed or not. That shrieking hiss is definitely a strong indication that he really was though. Maybe if it was a little longer, we would know for sure. This scary video clip captured not just one misty spirit miraculously floating atop the water, but a second emerging from below. Posted to TikTok by Horror Talk, the apparition gracefully glides on the water's surface, only for his brother's head to appear. Materializing from the same point in the water, it grows upwards, but we're left to wonder where the pair of spirits wandered off to, and from where they came. Some in the comments think this is a weather balloon, others say it's La Llorona, the weeping woman who roams the waterfront. What do you think it could be? This video is the launching point of one wild ride. Posted to the Ring subreddit, Midship92 explains that his neighbor messaged, asking him to check on his wife who was home alone because someone was trying to get inside. After going to check and finding no one, this friendly neighbor went back home, only to find this Ring video footage had been sent to him. The clip shows what the man just missed, a shirtless creep crawling up the front steps of the home, hiding his face away before trying the door in an attempt to break in. The man then lets himself down the steps and walks off. The Redditor adds in the comments, after doing this to several houses and evading police, he was finally caught. Finding the man was quite an ordeal. The Redditor elaborates further, explaining that during the police search, the suspect kept disappearing only to be seen again minutes later, after trying to catch the guy for nearly an hour, only for him to vanish into thin air. The police abandoned the search. Left to his own devices, the man again tried to get in through another neighbor's back door, but the Redditor saw him from his deck. He chased the man into another neighbor's crawl space and stood guard there until the police returned. Thankfully, the wild goose chase led to the wild goose being caught. Back in 1993, this TikToker's father took a video on a sharp camcorder. She thinks he captured a ghost. Posted on TikTok by Olivia Bishop, the mysterious video shows a child at play while her parents watch.
all those Gen Zs out there, this is a camcorder. We'd set it up, press record, and go about our day. I don't know why, it was just a 90s thing. And just so you guys know, we've had a ghost in every house that we've lived in, so that's why I found this very intriguing. Go ahead and watch that pumpkin in the left-hand corner, and let me know what you think.
A small plastic pumpkin sits at the end of a slide near the camcorder. After a moment, it rolls across the floor on its own for no discernible reason. Some in the comments note that the baby looks over at the pumpkin at the exact moment, like she senses something is there. Olivia claims to have had a ghost in every house they've lived in. Is this one of them? It appears that's the case. A man in Queens, New York, woke up one morning to find his cell phone randomly missing from his dresser. Since he lives all by himself and only puts his phone in one spot, he decides to check the surveillance footage to see what happened. What he finds is enough to make any reasonable person permanently paranoid. The camera shows a young man who he has never met before enter his home at 2:20 in the morning through an unlocked back door. The invader gets all the way across the man's house to his bedroom without being detected, at which point he gets on all fours and crawls just a few feet away from the homeowner's bed. Meanwhile, the unsuspecting homeowner is completely asleep and none the wiser. The bandit briefly comes up to snatch the cell phone and then quickly makes off. The man is understandably quite shaken by all of this when he notices one other large detail that he had failed to notice before. The young thief must have been ready to meet some resistance and came prepared for a showdown. Clutched tightly between his teeth as he snaked across the floor was a very sizable blade. Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.